We want you to be our guest. Come be a part of our studio audience. We're saving a seat just for you. Bring your friends and family, your students, your church and youth groups, your neighbors and co-workers. It's such a great time for everyone. To book your seat, visit delmarvalife.com and click on the show tab and find the For the Audience section, or give us a call, 443-880-9116.
You know, statistics show that tobacco use kills more than 400,000 people every year. In fact, studies show tobacco use is the #1 cause of preventable deaths in our country. But there's a new report suggesting that states, including Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia, are shortchanging tobacco prevention programs. Danny McGoldrick is the Vice President of Research with the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids. Danny, thank you for joining us this afternoon. I appreciate you being here with us. Tell me about the key findings in this report.
Well, unfortunately, the findings are that our states are not doing the right thing or the smart thing with the $25 billion in revenue they're getting this year from their tobacco settlement payments and their tobacco taxes. Now, only 2 states are funding at the recommended level from the CDC, and only 3 more at even half of the recommended level. In aggregate, states are spending less than 2% of the revenue from tobacco taxes and tobacco settlement payments on tobacco prevention programs that we know work to reduce tobacco use among both kids and adults.
All right, you've obviously taken a close look at this. Where do Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia rank?
Well, Delaware is doing better than most states. Spends, more than one of the 5 states that spends more than 50% of the CDC recommended level. But in Maryland and Virginia, we're not doing such a good job. And in Maryland in particular, we've cut spending for tobacco prevention. And what we know is when we cut tobacco prevention spending, what's going to happen is more kids are going to start smoking, fewer adults are going to quit. We're going to pay the price in terms of deaths from tobacco, early deaths from tobacco use, but also in tobacco-caused healthcare costs. It takes a terrible toll in Maryland, Virginia, and Delaware, both on life and our economy through tobacco-caused healthcare costs.
Okay, so Danny, what should states be using the money on?
Well, comprehensive programs recommended by the CDC include not only how much you should spend, but what you should spend it on, what the science tells us works to reduce tobacco use. So these programs have 3 main elements: the media campaigns, which get the word out in emotionally and relevant ways for youth and for smokers about the harms of tobacco use. Then we have community-based programs that get resources to reach out to youth and smokers where they live, work, play, and learn from people that they listen to. Not someone like you or me telling kids that they shouldn't smoke, but their peers. And this is done through our community-based programs. And then finally, help for those smokers that the community programs and media campaign encourage to quit, through the Quit Line or for medications that'll help them quit. So it's cessation services, community-based programs, and media campaigns. The science tells us when we do those things, we will reduce tobacco use among both kids and adults, we will save lives, and we will save healthcare dollars.
Okay, just last week, Delaware celebrated the 10th anniversary of the smoke-free workplace. So there are gains, right?
Well, we have made a lot of progress. We've reduced youth smoking nationally by about 50% in the last 15 years, but that progress has slowed. And part of the reason is because we've reduced investments in tobacco prevention by $250 million across the country over the last 4 years. You know, the tobacco companies are now spending $18 to promote smoking for every dollar our states are spending to prevent it. But we are taking some good steps. Delaware and Maryland have both passed strong smoke-free laws, which not only protect everybody from secondhand smoke and protect everybody's right to breathe clean air, but create an environment where kids are less likely to start smoking and where smokers are more likely to try to quit and to succeed in doing so. The other thing we can do is increase tobacco taxes. I know Maryland is looking at that. Delaware and Virginia both have tobacco taxes below the national average. That's a great way to prevent tobacco use, particularly among young people.
Danny, I'm a parent. I want to take things into my own hands. What can I do to discourage my son from smoking?
Well, of course, the best thing you can do is not smoke yourself, which I hope is the case for your own health. But we know kids of parents who smoke are way more likely to smoke. But even if you do smoke, make your home smoke-free and your car smoke-free, and just send that message that you know that tobacco use is harmful. And that's the next thing. Send a clear and consistent message to our young people as parents and others in the community that there's nothing good about this, and that all that the tobacco companies tell you about it, that it being sexy and glamorous and all that, is not true. We have to counter those messages from the tobacco companies. So we need clear and consistent messages to our kids, create that healthy environment in the home, sending the right messages through the way you, your own behavior and the behavior that you allow in your home. But also as adults, we need to tell our policymakers to take actions that help us protect our kids from tobacco. You know, we as parents can't stop the tobacco companies from spending $8.5 billion a year trying to get our kids to smoke and trying to keep smokers smoking. But we can tell our policymakers to take those steps like funding tobacco prevention, increasing tobacco taxes, passing smoke-free laws that will create an environment where kids are dramatically less likely to smoke.
Make things even better. Danny McGoldrick, Vice President of Research with the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids. Thank you for your time this afternoon. Appreciate that very much.
Thank you so much.
Now, if you'd like more information on the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, including how you can get involved, go to DelmarvaLife.com and click on the Show tab.
And still to come on Delmarva Life, having a heating or cooling system installed in your home can sometimes involve a lot of work. But there are ways to control the climate in your house without any major construction. Brian is at a home in Seaford this afternoon with more.
Well, Lisa, this is what's called a Mitsubishi ductless system. When we come back, we're going to explain how it works in your home, plus how it can save you money. Stay with us. You're watching Delmarva Life. We will be right back.